I never ever offer a bonus structure. They have to give it to me.
What happens if they've never done a bonus structure before?
Excellent. That's their problem, not mine. It's their bonus. I'm not putting my time and energy into thinking about how I should pay them more. Does that make sense? Okay. Unless you have a set bonus structure for an entire sales team, obviously then you can lay it out in front of them. But I never put anyone on a bonus until they've been with me 3 months. Mate, I just would hate to think what will happen in Australia if we let some of the idiots that want to run our country back in again. It's phenomenal, you know, that how fast and how hard they try and kill business. New Zealand is, in my books, one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. In some cases, that harms it, because when one person comes up with a good idea, 74 people in Auckland try to do the same thing, and there's a market for 2 of them, you know. Wow. Good old New Zealand.
How do you get around that?
What's that?
How do you get around that when you've got 72 others behind you?
How do you get round that fact? You prepare for that. You start your business knowing that that's going to happen. Because they will always all shut down in the end. Okay, it'll take a year or 2, but they'll shut down. It's like our business coaching company. We've had so many people come and try and copy us and do this and do that, and it's like, you know, simple thing, if you understand abundance, you understand that all they're doing is helping you, because they're educating the marketplace to buy what it is you sell. But the marketplace will realise who are the better companies to deal with in the long term. Does that make sense? It's like I love always telling the $6 haircut story. Do you guys know the $6 haircut story? So the guy ran a $20 a barber shop, $20 a haircut. The guy opened a shop across the road with a big sign saying $6 haircuts. And he's thinking, you know, what can I do? How can I compete with this? And he puts up a sign saying, we fix $6 haircuts. But that's the whole point of it. The marketplace will be expanded when competitors come in with you. The reason I'd go to so much energy is that what I find is that if you're going to get people to perform at a high level, if you're looking at a 16-cylinder big truck engine, and that's what I look at people as, most companies will hire on 2 things: that there's a body in a chair, and that there's a resume or a mind that goes along with that. They won't look much past that. But that's only 6 out of 16 cylinders. If you want to get a high performance person, you've got to get a person with these 2 things. I'll get you all to call them out for me. What are they? You've got to get a person with and with spirit. Do most companies want you to have emotion when you're there? No, they want you to leave the emotion at home. I want people to have emotion, because if they're not passionate about what we're doing, they're not going to succeed at it. If they don't love what we're doing, and love's an emotion, oh no. If they're not excited and passionate and joyous about what we're doing, it's not going to happen. And when I talk about spirit, if you don't involve someone's spirit, that is their higher purpose, not religion, their higher purpose, that there is not some meaning other than just coming to work. If you don't have some form of vision that they can get inspired by, that they can see. It's like, you know, one of the easiest examples is Anita Roddick's body shop. You know, because she has ideals, people come and work there. But what is it you are trying to achieve in your business? You know, even if your ideals are, we want to be the best nursery in Takapuna. You know, our vision is to create something that's better than just a place to get a paycheck. Because if it's just a place to get a paycheck, they come, they go. If there's something ideal or passionate or involved in what you're doing, people will stay forever. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, there must be some higher purpose to what you're doing if you want people to stay long term. Have a vision. Above the line, basically, we call these people, and they work with them, a manager. Below the line, what are they? The leader, the heart and spirit. To deal with heart and spirit, you have to be a leader. To deal with skill sets, their mind, to put a body in a chair, that's a manager. Also, to be a leader, you must understand the third law of thermonuclear dynamics. You've all studied that? Let me take you back one step. The first law of thermonuclear dynamics defines chaos theory. The second law of thermonuclear dynamics basically says if you're not growing, you are dying. And what's a better example of that? How many ever saw the movie Karate Kid? Did anyone ever see Karate Kid? Remember Miyagi-san, Mr. Miyagi? Remember Daniel, first when Miyagi said to him, Daniel, you want to learn karate? He says, yeah, that'd be good. He says, Daniel, you want to learn karate? He says, yeah, that'd be nice. Was he passionate at all about it? No. So Miyagi got him out to his house. What did he make him do? Wax on, wax off. Paint the fence, sand the floors, and paint the house. And eventually Daniel comes to Miyagi, and what does he say to him? I'm sick of doing your chores, I just want to learn karate! And he's like so yelling and screaming at him. And Miyagi tells a story. He says, Daniel-san, very good. He says, left side of the road, no one to learn karate, okay. Right side of road, definitely gonna put 100% effort into learning karate, okay. Middle of road, kinda guess so, maybe want to learn karate, squish like grape. Do you remember the story? Okay, if you go back and watch it, he's in there, and it's such a powerful thing. It's the same is true for anything in life. You know, when it comes to wealth creation, comes to being rich, if you want to just be average financially, that's okay. But if you want to be rich, you have to decide to be rich. You can't kinda, maybe, guess so, want to look rich rather than be rich. Does that make sense? Because you end up squished like grape. So the second law of thermonuclear dynamics basically explains that. The third law, a gentleman by the name of Ilya Prigogine won the Nobel Science Prize for his work in this area. What Prigogine studied was how things grow, how anything grows. And to do so, what he actually, he wrote a dissertation that was approximately 7,000 pages, but I've distilled it down to one flip chart for you. So you don't really have to study it. This is the point. What Prigogine said, that let's say this is you and you're looking at how you grow. Anything grows this way. To grow, what must you have applied to you? A level of? Everyone? Pressure. So when that pressure is applied, what happens is that as you get more and more pressure applied, eventually you hit a wall or you hit a breaking point. Let me give you an example. She's boiling water, as an example. When you boil water, how do you put pressure onto it? The heat. Heat pressurizes it, doesn't it? Because what does heat make the water do? Expand, so it puts pressure in. So here's heat going into the water. Now before the water boils, before it breaks through, what does it do? It simmers. Ever noticed yourself simmering at any point in time? When you're right at that edge, those of you that are high-level competitive people in sporting arenas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Others of you know about it in your relationship. Others of you know about it in business or in sales when you've simmered like anything because you have to break through. But when you hit that wall, one or two things is going to happen. Either you will keep applying the pressure and you will break through, or you will back off. That we know on planet Earth what happens when you back off and run away from a problem. Well, you end up coming back to it and it's a whole lot bigger. So as you push this pressure on, what Prigogine called it was a term he invented called perturbation. Something is perturbed, the perturbation of it. What happens is when something actually breaks through, it actually breaks apart and comes back together in a whole new way. Kind of like a diamond, when, you know, the coal, basically the carbon with the pressure, it breaks apart and comes back in a whole new way. But when in science something breaks apart and comes back together, what does it release? It has what we call a pop or a breakthrough. What does it release in science? Energy. When you boil water, the moment it starts boiling, what does it release? Steam, the energy. Same with human beings. Our energy, though, is done in the form of energy in motion. Energy in motion is, what term do we use for that? Emotion. Energy in motion. Just on that, by the way, is there a difference between a feeling and an emotion? Absolutely there is. A feeling is internal, an emotion is external. That's why women have trouble with men. Men have a lot of feelings, but we don't use a lot of emotion. Whereas women use a lot of emotion to express their feelings. It's the difference between Mars and Venus. So to give you an example of this, though, let's do it this way. There's two ways of applying pressure when you're building a team. One is negative pressure and the other is positive pressure. What I mean by negative pressure is the you will do it or else, the hostile aggressive. Imagine I had a balloon, just watch me for a second. Imagine I had a balloon in my hands and there's a hostile aggressive force from me, so I'm pushing down on people, I'm applying pressure to them. What is happening to the shape of the balloon? It's expanding out, isn't it? So when it eventually bursts, which way does it burst? Bursts out. The team blows apart. Does that make sense? If instead I got that same balloon, I set them pressure by giving them high goals. I set a new vision. And I'm holding the bottom of the balloon and the top of the balloon. Here I'm pulling the team up. Eventually the bottom will let go and the team will boing up like this. Does that make sense? So you raise the standards of the entire team. Will some of the team drop off when you raise the standards for the entire team? Absolutely. If they don't, it means you haven't raised the standards. So that's the two different ways we apply pressure. It's very important to understand that for a corporation or for an entity or for a human being to grow, you must apply pressure. That is why, how many of you in your life have reached a point where there's no pressure on you in your life? How many of you have reached that point? So what happens to you? You stop growing. You stagnate. Because there is no more pressure. The way I do this is a different cycle of business to most. In a corporation or in a company, there is a leader, there is a team, there are customers, and there's the business. If you are, well, let me just do a simple activity. If you are, well, I'll ask a question, then we'll do the activity. If you are the leader of the team and you are looking at, you can take care of the team, the customers, the business, which one do most leaders take care of? Customers, okay. The business. Just do this for a second. Just notice there are 4 main walls around us here. Okay, well, there's 8. So let's pretend that we'll have 4. Look at one of the walls. Now look at all 4 at the same time. You can't, can you? Most business owners try and take care of their team, the customers, the business, everything all at the same time. The cycle of business does not work that way. Here is how it works. The cycle of business essentially is a revolution. The leader takes care of the team by putting in place what sort of things? Systems, incentives, training, motivation, visions, culture statements, mission statements, rules of the game, key performance indicators. financial backing, assets of the corporation. All of the things that a leader needs to put in place for the team to do their job. The team's job is then to use those systems, vision, etc., to take care of everyone. And the customer's job is to keep spending money to take care of and then the business will automatically take care of Make sense? However, do most people do this? No, they're too busy trying to do all of the above and forget where their role should be. It's why they work so many hours and they work so hard in most cases. Okay, if you're starting off and you have no team members, what did we look at the other day? The 6 levels of building high performance. Mastery, niche, then you put in the leverage, then you build the team. You build the systems before you employ the team. See, if you have your organisation chart like we talked about the other day, then when you employ someone, by the way, when you first start out, how many positions in the organisation chart are you in if you're the only one? All of them. As you employ someone, might they take 4 or 5 of those other positions off of you? Yeah. You might employ one other person, they get 5. And as you grow, gradually, people get 1. Good question. So the number 1 key to a winning team, everyone, is